In the pre-title sequence, a proton blast erupts from the top of a mine shaft at the Shandor Mining Company, shooting into a swirling vortex of clouds beneath a midnight sky. An old pickup truck then speeds out of the mine shaft and down a desolate rural road. The driver, an elderly bearded man, is obscured in the darkness of the truck's cabin. He glances at the passenger seat and touches a ghost trap holding a spirit. As he drives, an unseen creature pursues and eventually sideswipes the truck, sending it crashing into a cornfield. The man stumbles out into an open field in front of an old farmhouse. On the porch, he turns around and raises the trap, baiting the unseen spirit in the cornfield. This man is revealed to be Egon Spengler. He readies a foot pedal switch as invisible footsteps approach across the dirt. When the entity is in position, Egon stomps the pedal, activating several electric towers. However, they short out before powering the intended device. Egon quickly retreats inside and hides the trap in a compartment under the wooden floor. Sitting in a chair with his PKE meter, he watches as fog fills the room and the meter lights up, its arms extending as if a ghost is present. Egon is attacked in his chair, the PKE meter falls and deactivates. A spirit orb is seen leaving the house. Inside, the PKE meter reactivates, suggesting a new ghost is nearby. We then meet Callie and her kids, Trevor and Phoebe, as they are being evicted from their apartment. Callie learns that her father has passed away in his Oklahoma farmhouse, so she takes the kids to collect anything valuable, including the house. They arrive to find a dilapidated home full of clutter. While exploring, Janine, the Ghostbusters receptionist, arrives and informs them that Callie's father, Egon, had significant debt and a seemingly worthless farm. Suddenly, the ground shakes as if from an earthquake, and the family huddles under a table. Phoebe spots the PKE meter under the chair where her grandfather died. Callie takes Trevor and Phoebe into town to eat and admits they will be staying for a while until she figures things out. The small southern town residents knew of Egon as the dirt farmer because he never grew any crops. Trevor, smitten with a girl named Lucky who works at the local burger joint, applies for a job there. In the following days, Phoebe explores the farm using the PKE meter. She notices a chessboard with an initial move and makes a counter move. Callie enrolls Phoebe in summer school, where she meets her teacher, Gary. Gary, there mainly for a paycheck, has the kids watch old horror movies while he researches the area's unusual tremors. Phoebe impresses him with her knowledge of seismology, and he explains that the tremor wave patterns don't match typical earthquakes. Phoebe also befriends a classmate who calls himself Podcast, due to his constant recording for his show. At the farmhouse, Phoebe sees another move made on the chessboard and starts playing against the ghost, watching as the pieces move on their own. The ghost guides her downstairs by turning on lights, leading her to find the ghost trap under a floor panel. She takes it to Gary, who identifies it based on the famous New York siege from 1984. He shows her and Podcast old footage of the Ghostbusters commercial on YouTube. They rig the trap to a school bus battery and successfully open it, releasing a ghost resembling one of the demon dogs from the original film. Revelations unfold as Trevor discovers Ecto-1 hidden under a tarp in the barn, while Phoebe finds Egon's lab in the basement. They realize their grandfather was a Ghostbuster and decide to take action. Phoebe, with the help of Egon's invisible ghost, repairs a proton blaster and tests it with Podcast. They encounter the metal-eating ghost, Muncher, but fail to capture him. Meanwhile, Trevor repairs Ecto-1 and goes for a joyride, eventually meeting up with Phoebe and Podcast. Together, they chase Muncher through the city in Ecto-1, causing extensive property damage with the proton gun. They finally capture Muncher using Egon's RC car-mounted ghost trap, but attract the police's attention and end up in the town's holding cell. At the jailhouse, Phoebe uses her one phone call to contact the Ghostbusters via the number from their old commercial. Ray Stantz answers and explains the team disbanded after supposedly eliminating all ghosts. He recounts how Egon stole their equipment, claiming Gozer could still bring about the end of the world, leading to a falling out. Phoebe informs Ray of Egon's death, but the sheriff cuts her off. Callie and Gary, returning from a date, bail the kids out. Phoebe confronts Callie about keeping Egon's identity a secret. Callie explains her strained relationship with her father, feeling neglected because she didn't share his scientific interests, which she believes drove him to become a recluse on the Oklahoma farm. Determined to understand Egon's motives, the kids discover that the dirt farm is actually a field of ghost traps designed to contain Gozer. They realize Egon's trap failed and decide to investigate the mine shaft. Lucky, Trevor's co-worker, and the sheriff's daughter joins them. They find that the mine is a portal to the evil dead, with Gozer attempting to raise a horde of ghosts. Egon had rigged 4 seismic-activated proton guns to suppress these attempts, causing the town's recurrent tremors. Meanwhile, Gary goes to Walmart for ice cream and encounters a mini Stay Puft Marshmallow Man wreaking havoc. He is attacked by the demon dog they released earlier. Back at the farmhouse, Callie discovers Egon's hidden lab and a memory board showing he cared deeply for her. Just then, a demon dog finds and possesses her. The kids return home to share their findings with Callie, but find her possessed. She escapes to the mine shaft, joining Gary, who has already damaged Egon's proton guns, allowing Ghost to escape. The possessed pair merge energies in the mine. The kids retrieve Ecto-1 from the police impound with Lucky's help. Phoebe and Podcast recover the RC Ghost Trap and Proton Blaster from the weapon-holding cell by releasing Muncher, who eats away the bars and escapes. They arrive at the mine and witness Callie and Gary transforming into demon dog forms with Gozer between them. Phoebe steps out from hiding to distract Gozer, while Podcast controls the RC trap and captures the demon dog possessing Callie, releasing her from the transformation as she passes out. The kids escape in Ecto-1 with Callie, pursued by Gary, still in demon dog form. At the farmhouse, they attempt Egon's trap again. Callie and Phoebe stand on the porch holding the ghost trap containing the demon dog Gozer needs for full resurrection. Gozer emerges from the cornfield, and Phoebe tries to activate the traps, but they fail as they did for Egon. Mini Stay Puft Marshmallow Men sabotage Ecto-1's equipment, allowing Gozer to free the demon dog, which then possesses Lucky. Just as Gozer, now at full strength, is about to kill Phoebe, she is saved by a proton blast from Ray Stantz, who arrives with Peter Venkman and Winston Zeddemore. The original Ghostbusters cross their beams and fire at Gozer, but she uncrosses the beams and blasts them back, causing them to fall. Gozer approaches the fallen Ghostbusters as Peter jokingly comments on their troubled relationship. Phoebe, guided by the ghost of Egon, hits Gozer with a proton beam. This is the first time Egon's ghost is revealed to the audience. The three original Ghostbusters join Phoebe in firing their beams. Together, they suppress Gozer, but she remains uncaptured. Meanwhile, Trevor and Podcast defeat the Mini-Puffs and repair the sabotaged equipment. Trevor fires his proton beam at the electrical capacitors, charging them. Callie throws the switch, successfully activating the traps and capturing Gozer and the demon dogs. The original Ghostbusters stare in amazement at the ghost of their fallen comrade. Egon says goodbye, fixes Phoebe's glasses, and hugs Callie before fading into the night sky. Lucky and Gary are freed from the demon dog forms, and the original Ghostbusters meet the Spenglers. Winston offers to fix up Ecto-1, and the original Ghostbusters take it and their equipment back to New York City. The final scene shows Ecto-1 driving with emergency lights on across a bridge in New York City as the Ghostbusters theme song begins. In a mid-credits scene, Dana Barrett Venkman tests Peter's psychic abilities with the same cards and electroshock machine Peter used in his university research. A post-credits scene features a conversation between Winston, now the wealthy head of his family, and Janine. Winston mentions maintaining the Ghostbusters properties, including Ray's occult bookstore and the original fire station. The fire station's door opens to allow Ecto-1 inside, and a blinking red light on the containment system in the basement is shown. The film takes a bit of time to gain momentum, but once it does, the energy remains consistently high. The child actors deliver excellent performances, with Phoebe being the most obvious heir to Egon's legacy, sharing his appearance and scientific aptitude. Mckenna Grace brings her character to life in a way that feels authentic, even more so than might be expected from the script alone. Her brother, Trevor, experiences a charming teen in a new town arc that introduces a romantic subplot. Paul Rudd also appears, essentially playing himself, and provides most of the film's limited comedic moments. Unlike its predecessors, which were high-concept comedies at their core, Afterlife leans more into a kids-on-an-adventure vibe. This shift is not inherently problematic, but it does highlight a fundamental issue. The film is caught between two audiences. On one side, the original fans, now with children of their own, might appreciate a kid-centric Ghostbusters movie as a family-friendly outing. On the other hand, much of the film's appeal relies on nostalgia, something that today's children may not fully appreciate. This creates a unique but somewhat peculiar dynamic. The joy of watching Ecto-1 in action is undeniable, especially with the addition of a gunner seat reminiscent of the toy, the distinctive siren, the beam from the proton pack, capturing an unruly Spectre. The traps, and the iconic jumpsuits all bring immense satisfaction. An often overlooked element, the score, stands out brilliantly. Composer Rob Simonson masterfully captures the essence of Elmer Bernstein's original music, effectively transporting viewers back to the original film more than any gag could. While experiences may vary, these elements are certainly appreciated by many. There is a sense that significant material has been cut from the movie. Running just over 2 hours, it already feels lengthy. In their effort to develop strong character arcs and introduce a new team of Ghostbusters, it appears much of the ghostly content was trimmed. One scene hints that more might have been filmed, and if so, it would have been beneficial to include it. This sense of reduction contributes to the film lacking the robust personality of the original series. Yet, despite these issues, the film largely succeeds. It is imbued with love and care, evident in every choice made, even those that are less inspired. Reverence for the Ghostbusters franchise is apparent throughout, and there are many genuinely moving moments. As thanks for watching the whole video, here's a picture of a cute puppy. And if you have a movie or TV show that you want us to cover, just comment it down below. We'll make a video of it in the future. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out our playlist for more recaps.